everyone, and welcome to another Friday Live with Intrepid English. So today we're going to talk about the conditionals, the if sentences, and how do we use them. So what is the difference between if I get the job, I will buy us all dinner, and if I got the job, I would buy us all dinner? So, of course, they are both if sentences, but their tenses are different, and because of that, the meaning is different too. In the first sentence, I think I am going to get the job. So there is a big possibility that I will buy dinner. I can make that promise that I will buy dinner. In the second sentence, it's a very small possibility that I will get the job. So I'm saying it's a very small possibility that I will buy everyone dinner. So these are the conditionals. And there are 4 types in English. Yes, darling. So let's look at them more closely. We have the zero conditional, which is if plus subject plus present simple. And then the second part is subject and present simple. So this is when the outcome is 100% going to happen. So let's, for example, if I take a pot of white paint and I take a pot of black paint, what happens if I mix them together? I get grey. So if I mix black and white together, I get grey. If I heat water at 100 degrees, it boils 100%. If I sit in the sun too long with no sun cream, I burn. I have Scottish skin. It is a fact for me. So there are no other possibilities. There are no other outcomes. These are for facts and general truths. I'm just giving her some toys to play with very quickly. There we go. Next, let's look at the first conditional. So, imagine you see you are with a friend, and we have our tennis rackets. So imagine you are with me, and we have our tennis rackets. But we look up at the sky, and there are dark grey clouds. So it's not raining, but when you have dark grey clouds, there is a big possibility of rain. Say maybe 80% likely to rain. Now, do you think we want to play in the rain? No one really wants to play tennis in the rain. So we can say, if it rains, we won't play tennis. Some more examples. If he's late to work, he'll lose his job. Again, there is a big possibility that he is going to be late for work. So there is a big probable outcome that he will lose his job. If she doesn't study, she won't pass the exam. There's an 80% chance she won't pass the exam because she is not studying enough. So these are all for outcomes when there is a large probability and it's a big possibility that it's going to happen. Next, we have the second conditional. So, I live in Paris. Okay, it's a big city. Now, imagine I'm walking along the street and I see a crocodile. What do you think I would do? Well, I would run. Personally, I would run very, very fast, very far away. Now, so we can say in English, if I saw a crocodile, I would run away. Now, the reason is it likely that I will see a crocodile in Paris? Not really. Maybe 1 to 5% probability. But it's not impossible because there is a zoo and a crocodile could escape from the zoo. So it's not impossible. It's just a very, very small chance of happening. Now, if we imagine that I live in Australia, in the bush, well, the situation is different. I would probably use the first conditional there because there's a big probability of me seeing a crocodile. So if I see a crocodile, I will run away. But I actually live in Paris and there is a small probability that I will see a crocodile. So let's look at some more examples. If I won the lottery, I would buy an island. Again, there's a very, very small chance that I will win the lottery. It is possible. If I buy a ticket, maybe. If I were you, I would change jobs. So this is when we are giving advice. We use what is now no longer used in English, the subjunctive. So I know you are thinking, if I were you, but I've always been told it's if I was. This is the last part of the subjunctive in English. It's the only real place that we use it. We found it too annoying, so we basically took it out of our language. But that is why you will see if I were you rather than if I was you. Now, you can also say if I was you now in English. Both work. If he were me, if he was me, both work absolutely fine. It's just, I prefer if I were you because I'm a bit old-fashioned and I love perfect English. So, but a lot of native speakers now say if I was you. So, it's not impossible because we're imagining if we were in their situation. And it is possible to be in that situation in the future. We don't know. It's not possible to be somebody else, but it is possible to be in their situation. So, another example. If he studied very hard, he could become a doctor. Here we're talking about somebody who doesn't study very much, who doesn't really attend his lessons at school or doesn't go to his lectures at university. So it's a very small possibility that he will become a doctor. But he could. So you see, we could use could. So it's if plus subject plus past simple, even though we don't mean the past. We use the past simple to describe a small possibility. And then subject plus would plus the basic infinitive. The basic infinitive is the infinitive with no to. So we say would change jobs, would buy an island. Now, let's look at the final conditional, which is obviously the more complicated one. So I'm going to tell you a story that is a true story and it happened to me. So my sister loves triathlons. She loves doing sport. On the other hand, hate sport. Not a very good person to go running. Try and avoid it as much as I can. My sister told me to go swimming with her one day. I went and I saw everybody was wearing very professional swimming suits. And there was a man with an Olympic tracksuit on. And on the board it says 200 meters breaststroke, 200 meters crawl, 200 meters backstroke. I thought, what on earth is this? I thought I was just going for a normal swim. No. My sister had taken me to a triathlon training session. As I told my sister, because I am competitive, even though I don't like sport, so I stayed. I didn't like it, but I did probably about 800 meters, which was a lot for me. So I said to my sister, when we finished, and my whole body was shaking because it had done so much effort. And I said to my sister, if I had known the truth, I would never have come with you. Okay, so it's the conditional that's used for the impossible outcomes. Okay, it's talking about it's in the past. And we can't change the past. But we can think of an alternative past and how we would change the past if we could. So it's normally when we're talking about regret or when we blame someone. So I blame my sister for that experience. So if I look at another example, if I had studied art, I would have become an artist. So it's one of my regrets is not studying art. If he had studied better at school, he would have a better job now. Again, it's saying, it's not possible. He didn't study well at school. It's a fact. He didn't study. So he doesn't have a good job now. That's the fact. And if we want to change it, then we would use the third conditional, which is if plus subject plus past perfect. And then the second part is subject would plus have plus the past participle. It is not the present perfect, because listen to the example. If he had studied better, he would have a better job now, not has. So it is the past participle. So if you hadn't listened to this video, would you have known how to use the conditionals? Who knows? So I'm going to put the link below for our blog on Intrepid English website, where you can look at more explanations of the conditionals and more examples. But now it's your turn to practice. So can you write in the comments below your own examples of each conditional? So you've got the 0, which is if plus subject plus present, and then subject plus present. And then you've got the first, which is if plus subject plus present simple. And then the second part, you've got the subject and the future. Yes. And then the second conditional is you have if plus subject plus past simple, that we don't mean the past. And then subject plus would plus the basic infinitive, the infinitive with no to. Then we've got the third conditional, which is if plus subject plus past participle. And then subject plus would plus have plus past participle. Now it's your turn, and I hope to see some examples below. And I will check them, of course, and let you know. Bye-bye from now.